noise and at the same time Super Bowl stuff, and at the same time trying to organize this. We went back and forth with email, and I could not have two of the best partners in this game to execute this thing to where it has. It's our first year, and I'm very, very proud of how it has turned out. So please give Sharon and Judith a round of applause. Allow me to introduce Judith right now to come on stage to introduce the women in music. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Orville Shaggy Burrell. And like he said, this is a powerful panel. The panel is Women in Music, and I'm bringing out a number of women to join me. First, my partner in business, Sharon Burke. Nevertheless, Queen Ifrica, singer, songwriter, activist, and then someone who has been singing pretty much from her eyes were at her knees, someone fortunate enough to be mentored by Robert Nesta Marley, someone who has just maintained longevity in this business, Nadine Sutherland. Pampute. And of course, coming from overseas, we have Venus Rose. My very first question, and I'm going to ask it of Ifrica. Why is it even important for us to differentiate between women in business, women in music, and men?
Women have the womb. We do the birthing. So if we are birthing the behaviors that we'd love for our sons and our daughters, music is the best place, and women in music plays the most important role where that is concerned.
That's an interesting answer, because now that leads me to ask, and I will ask Nadine, is it that women are responsible, therefore, for whatever is happening with the music, in the music, for the music?
And I would say we are co-responsible because we're co-creators in this universe with our men. I can't really say that it's our sole responsibility. Although the aspect of nurturing is always attributed to women, but we have to understand that the universal responsibility is both from the men and the women, because the children are listening and we are the examples that they are seeing. So I can't say solely the responsibility of women for the music.
Thank you. Pampute, is the journey right on off the bat harder for women than men?
I think so. Because we have to work 3 times harder than the man them. For instance, I rhythm a goat.
With your microphone.
I rhythm a goat and, 15 persons on the rhythm. And it's only 1 female, 14 men. The 14 men song I go play. And the woman who on it, I go fight hard. Please, may I beg you, play my song while I think it should have been so hard.
As I was preparing for this panel, I was asking a couple of questions. And the question came up that there are a number of women that feel that they're sexually harassed and that sex becomes a problem when women reach out in the music industry. And the male responded to me by saying, yeah, but same way like I want to complain about it, it may gonna go forward to more than demand them more time. What are your thoughts on that?
Sometimes it do happen, but you have to strong, because people come across, me come across people like that, but you have to strong and know what you want, know your worth. You understand? If a music you're in, a music you're in, because sometimes you sleep around, sometimes it don't really make no sense. Because you do the most for reach to the top. That's why sometimes most people, them think different. When them realize, so, well, me I do this for reach, this time I can't reach. You understand? While you have to just put in the work and trust the process and pray. Because sleeping around most of the time, they really get in the way. It don't go degrade your thing down. So you have to just stand up and firm in a Zion.
And to straighten what Pampute is saying, let your passion lead you, let
Yes.
your purpose lead you. Like for me personally, when I'm asked that question as to whether or not the struggle between man and woman in music make a difference, I don't approach music as a woman. I approach music with my talent.
Yes.
My talent is what
Yes.
you're supposed to see first, and the fact that I'm a woman should make it a plus. So I always encourage sisters to not, because sometimes a lot of the sisters that get caught in that kind of going down that road is because, make we put it plain, them just want to be seen right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
And whatever it takes for them to be seen right now is what they're going to do. So you can't come into the music business, and if you're going to a regular corporate job, you're going to want to find a way to move up the ladder to make your boss either move you from washing pots to going to sharing food, to going into management. It's the same thing with music. You come in with your talent, you do your couple songs, a couple promoters or producers might not want to voice you, but you determine that the next one you voice for the song
Yes.
where you voice before I go better than the next one where them here, and that is what's supposed to be your guide. You know, but we see a system set up where women are taught to use their bodies as negotiation piece, and that's what they come in negotiating with, and no one changes that. So every generation of female that comes along, the clothes get skimpier because they feel that that's what you walk in
True.
with first, and then maybe if they like what they see, then you can introduce what they need to hear. And I'm just saying to young sisters coming, that just lead with your voice, lead with your passion,
Yes.
lead with your talent, and make everything else work out itself.
Believe in yourself and love it. And music is a thing, you have to love it. You not just see it and say, more on the music because Queen Africa have a
Mike.
van. You understand? Queen Africa have a van, or Pampute have this, or she reach this, or whatever. You have to come, you have to love it. You have to passionate about it.
Let's move to Venus and tell us your experience. We've listened to some Jamaican experiences. Let us know your experience as a female within the music industry.
I got into the industry in college through interning. I feel like I was able to find a great support system and mentors, who had morals and values. So I can't say that I really experienced like sexual harassment. I feel like, you have to find the right people, and especially if you have mentors, you can find people who have experience and can also look out for you. And what I always have gone by also is that, there are many doors to an opportunity. You don't have to just take the one way.
Did you feel pressured in any way as a female? Did you feel like it was harder at all because you're a female?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's, the music industry is a male-dominated industry. So it's like, some men can see you and look at you as competition, especially if you're successful. I just feel like, you just can't let things get you down. You have to, stay motivated and determined, and just surround yourself with the right support system. I think it's all about the support system and the people that you surround yourself with at the end of the day.
Thank you. Let's move now to Sharon Burke. As you have journeyed in this industry, let me start by asking you, what has been the hardest thing for you on this journey? Turn on the mic. Yeah, it's on.
I can turn it on. What are you referring to, Judy? What you're asking them in?
Not necessarily, because it can be that, or it can be anything that, when you look at it, because you have been on this journey, we've seen you on this journey.
Well, first of all, I stand up to any man, so nobody can test me. All right? The idea about Allen Music Conference, I went to several men about it. And no one believed in my dream. I'm speaking about men now, not you. And the only one that believed in my dream with me was Orville Shaggy Burrell. Okay? Several of them. Someone was telling us last night, you were there when the person came and said, I feel so stupid because Sharon brought this idea to me many years. And he was in the audience. And he was so embarrassed, so ashamed. So for me now, where I'm in my life, I stand up to any man.
Right, this.
But how did you get there? Is this the way it was from day one, when you just started the journey?
Well, you see, I had mentors like Tommy Cowan, Ronnie Burke, so they were always like, you know, they guided me well and taught me well. So I really didn't have a lot of problems that other people faced.
And so now, as you're looking out into the audience, and there are all these women out here who are playing various roles in the music, what's your best piece of advice for them?
Just believe in yourself and believe in your dreams, and it will happen.
How do you do that, though? Because I know you're giving me the right answer, and almost like a generic answer. But a lot of times, it is so hard to believe in yourself when you are being picked at from every angle. Whatever
no, I ignore those things, Judy. You know that.
But how do you get there? For these women that are watching you, how do you get there?
Jump in my Ferrari and press the gas.
I love it.
Don't look right, don't look left. Jump in my Ferrari and just drive.
All right. Is what color Ferrari?
Orange.
And I'd like to add to that
Yes, I'm
Ferrari
going.
decoration that Sharon just painted to say, it means that the seat in the Ferrari is your passion, your drive, your will, your power to say, it doesn't matter what the obstacles are, I am going to be the biggest woman promoter, woman manager, woman, whatever you choose to be in music, that's what I'm going to be. I think that's the Ferrari that she's pressing on. So for this is me breaking it down in layman's terms, because a lot of sisters really literally need to know what it feels like to fight for yourself as a woman in any situation at all that you find yourself in, not just in music as we are in, but in life generally, to move from the secretary to become the CEO of your company is not the easiest journey. And so it is what you, the individual, really see for your future. Because the Ferrari literal twinner, you know what I mean? These are the things that you would have to do so that you can legally drive that physical Ferrari that you see in your head, that beautiful house that you would want on the hillside, that extension of yourself that you would want to see for not only yourself, but your daughters and your peers and the people around you. So yeah, let's fire up these.
I noticed that you say the biggest female promoter, the biggest female artist. Now, the biggest promoter, the biggest manager, the biggest singer.
Yes.
Don't let your gender be at all anything that you're going to say, I'm going to be limited. It might happen in the real world, but in terms of when you're doing your affirmation, I just go in genderless.
Yes.
I just go in and I'm like, I want to be the biggest this, I want to be the biggest that. Take out the woman business, take out that. Because sometimes even those thoughts can be limiting and can be like provide concrete for your feet that you don't want to move because you're limited because of what you have seen that is in the past, that a woman can only go here. You're like, for me, I'm like the biggest this, the biggest that. and I just don't put in the gender. So
And to,
just
and to add to what Nadine said earlier about men and women being a balance, it is very good for us to continue to say that men and women is a balance and should be a balance, but it is also good to add to that that women do not need the approval of men
Totally.
to
Yes.
be women. We are women, bar none. There's not a competition about it. We are the one who gave breastfeed and breast milk to the men, that because they sow these seeds in us, and we bring these seeds to the earth, and we nourish these seeds and make them into these great men that they become. So we do not need to ask men to give us what we need. We should ask them for what we want and see to it that we get it.
Stand up.
And if we don't get it, then we move along to the man, like in the form of Shaggy, who was willing to say, come Sharon, as a man who loves you as woman, I am going to stand with you on this idea of your conference. And we need, in the time now where the woman trumpet is sounding very loudly for a whole lot of reasons, we're saying to the regular woman in your very household that you have the power to step in front of your man and to make him know that you are a woman for a reason. Not because you're their spouse or because you're their partners in how you work with them, but because you are. It don't need no big breakdown. We are women.
And we contribute a lot.
We are women. The earth, this is who we are. We are supposed to fix things. We fix things. We carry the baby for 9 months, then we nourish it for 20 years, 30 years. Depends on how long then take to move out of the house.
Or if them ever move
Or
out.
if them ever move out of the house. We nourish the husband them. We heal the wounds when everybody get hurt. It's us, it's we, it's us. And so we need as women to just understand that. We don't need to be in competition with men. Men need to just come ask us some questions. How do we serve you, my queens?
Right. I agree with that.
Yes.
Just like that. So I freak up. I was moving to you because I want to go now to our personal journeys and stories, a little bit of that. You are Derek Morgan's daughter. A lot of persons would think that is what got you into music and that you would have gotten tremendous help that way. Tell me your story where that's concerned.
I feel like the moment of shift is really happening, you know. So I'm just going to say this. My father is a vessel that I came here via. He's a goat in his own right, but I'm talking on the personal sense. He's just a vessel that I came through. I'm just going to leave that as that.
Would that therefore have ensured that you came out as this talent, blessed already with the genes of this goat?
I think so. And I think we all, we're in the era now of portaling as well, because right now in this moment, we are portaling into the shift that Shaggy spoke about, that artists shift culture and international artists shift the entire world. This is what we're doing right now. So we're saying, as human beings, we portal through other human beings to be on this side. I portaled through my father and my mother to be on this side, to be in this now, to be in this present, to discuss in this time what it means to be a woman in a beautiful industry that we call music. My father, it started, you could say it started at them, because they were the early stalwarts in the music. He's responsible for letting in Bob Marley and letting in all these other greats. You know, he was the one who auditioned them and said, you're good to go. So that's a good legacy to stand on.
Did it make your way easier?
It didn't, because at the end of the day, we move along very quickly in everything that we do. In other words, when an artist come and does their time, they come and they move along. And somebody else come and they move along. So me saying Derek Morgan is my father, a kid now at 9-year-olds asking, who is that? Because that was from the 50s, close to the 40s. So for me, I wouldn't say it would have helped based on the elders that would have been in the business. I would have known who a Derek Morgan is and would have said, you know, that's Derek Morgan's daughter, and somebody might ask, and then it might come back to the future. But I think making it harder or making it easier is depending on the person who wants something from the situation. I could not stop to think to do music whether or not Derek Morgan was my father. I wanted to do music because I saw people like Master Griffiths and Judy Mowat and Lady G and Patra them was just blasting the world as female Jamaican women. And as a little girl, hearing Colleen Davis sing her songs, I wanted to do that. Because as you know, I'm born in the 70s, now watch you look. Yeah. So those were more why I refused to say whether it was hard or easy, because I saw Master Griffiths is doing 59 years in the same business that we're complaining that women don't get a chance in. True. So if those are examples that we see, that we can look at, then there's no excuses to say whether or not it was hard for you. It's hard because you make it. You have to stand up and push against it. I remember the first time I met Pampute. Oh. The first time I met Pampute, it was a Sting rehearsal.
Champion in Action. I'll never forget that.
Champions in Action. It was Big Yard as well, right?
Big Yard, yes, Shaggy. Yes.
And them time there, she was using the umbrella to cover the something, because yes. she'd tell you. And she was going into the rehearsal, and I was actually going into the rehearsal as well, because I was on the show, but she was just coming up, and she was mashing up the local scenes like what you call underground, right? She was doing so well to the point where they had to put her on Champions in Action. The gist of the story is, when we were going in there, Tony Webber was there with me too, I saw her and she was so sad. She was so sad standing at the gate, and I could have passed, right? Yeah. And I turned back to her and I said, what's happening with you? You know, because by this time I would have heard of her and would have seen her face and know that that was her. And she said to me that, you know, so I'm supposed to be on this rehearsal for Champions in Action, and no matter where me do the man them, make me time, give me my time for rehearsal and tell me all kind of foolishness. And I gave her an encouraging...
Hold on, I'm not cut you.
Yes,
one of the things you said to me, are you a Pampute?
Yes.
You have one song a mash up over children, you know, them Sue call you.
Yes.
And when they said that to me,
yes.
like 2 weeks after, they get the call. The first time I go, say me I go touch the stage now for performers, Pampute.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I encouraged her to say, look here, don't make them stop you. Find a way out for dressing at the clothes them where you going to feel comfortable and love yourself. Go in there, do your rehearsal, mash up the place, because some of the man them when I want you come in there because them sister you're better than them, and if them give the chance, them is them not even going to have no career.
Them is like
you understand me? And see, we're sitting on the same panel today. I'm so proud of her when I see her do what she do. Because I saw her, you know, when she was coming. And this is what I'm trying to say, that if we see each other, male or female, as Nadine said, if we see each other along the way, then we can grow and walk with each other along the way, and we wouldn't have to ask questions as to whether or not it is easy or hard for one side. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean?
And so what we're touching on right there so now is mentorship. And so we move to Nadine, who would have been mentored by a man who 40 years after his death is still topping charts and only step off of the chart often enough to give somebody a little 2 week when them drop an album. Speak to us, Nadine, therefore, about mentorship and the role that that plays.
Okay, I was fortunate enough that Bob had a vision. He was a superstar at that time, and he used his infrastructure to set up, to facilitate young artists that, you know, were coming up. I heard from my father, who is a Wailers fanatic, and tell me, I'm a Bob Marley man now. That grew with Bob from the Rude Boy stage of the Wailers into when he became Bob Marley. I heard the name Wailers was because they wailed because of unscrupulous and thieving promoter and terrible producer, where thief them money and them something. So in his head, he wanted to make it easier for a young artist that was coming up, and I benefited. after One Tasty, my first song, Starvation, was played. Those who know you can't do it, it's starvation on the land, so if you can help up your brother, man. So after that, you know, Bob transitioned, and yeah, I've had some interesting men. As sometimes when when I hear people saying that it was difficult and all of that, I have had the support of men and I would say sometimes, not really mentorship because I wasn't around them. I know my first background vocals job was with a man, it was Peter Tosh. I was 16, I was extremely nervous. Everybody knows Peter Tosh as, you know, Ruffian, I always say bounty killer, Peter Tosh in the second generation. Peter Tosh, police better come up to Peter Tosh and Peter Tosh have him spliff and Peter Tosh will not be going to jail. So much time him get arrested and beat up and all of that. This man, when I was a little girl, say, I don't remember when I did my first background vocal session, like 16 or 17. I was in sixth form, nervous. Cause you hear about Peter Tosh, you hear about OMST. I went into that mic booth and I made so many mistakes. I could not focus. I was so nervous because at that time I've never done background singing ever in my life. And I'm doing it for Peter Tosh. I'm around Palm Hall, J.C. Lodge. All of those are established background vocal singer. And I remember distinctly, and I hold this memory in my heart. And I always speak it when I get the opportunity to. Just to say to you, there's so many different sides to an individual. I was actually shaking because I was so nervous. Peter stopped the session. And this is him in a tone of voice that you want. And he's like, Nadine, are you okay? I'm saying yes, because I'm frightened now, you know. And he's like, okay, let her sing. This is how he was speaking, you know. There is no, oh, it's not, blah, 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 blah. He was like, to everybody, let her sing the melody so she can just like relax and just get used to the, he never said process. She can just get used to it. So here I was, nervous, and this man, the first time, my first introduction to background vocals, and I always boast and say, if you listen to the new Nuclear War, you can hear me at the top going, you don't need no nuclear war. With nuclear war, you won't get far. We need a Holocaust. Ooh, listen, you don't hear my voice. Was Peter Tosh, who said, let her sing that. I remember because it was Nuclear War. Fast forward. Pentos, fast forward, Fatis Burrell, those men, mentors. You know, I remember when Garnet transitioned and I did Pair of Wings. And, you know, Pair of Wings, one of them pretty song, kind of sad. It was a sad time for us to process the death of Garnet. And I went to Fatis and I said, I have a song. And he was like, immediately, like the next day, I was in the studio doing Pair of Wings. So that was how Fatis was with me back in the days after Babyface and all of that. There were men who were supportive, who were, would give me directions. And I'm appreciative of that. So I really want to speak on that. I know sometimes in this business, we kind of bash our men, but I have had some experience. Just like Mr. Shaggy, that come and listen to what Sharon had to say. We have to, the mentors who were there, who facilitated and opened and encouraged, we speak about them. Yes.
All right. I want to jump to you, Venus, because my understanding is you started out in the field as an artiste first, and then you moved to other things within the industry. Why did you start as an artiste but not continue?
Okay, so I'm originally from Virginia, and I was in school in North Carolina. The internet really brought me to New York. Just the music culture, the fashion culture, the entertainment industry in general. I feel like when I came to New York, I was like 19. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just creating, so I started creating music. Once I, got into the music industry, I got into fashion. And when I started interning at the Source magazine, that's where I started, I got to experiment in different realms of production. So I feel like I got the opportunity to kind of sort of freestyle and try things out. And I saw what, what my calling was, and which is, building identities of artists, the new generation talent, and brand development. So it's like I have the perspective of knowing how it is to also be the music artist, and I have I would say the business aspect of how to also build the artist. So it's like a very experiential understanding, if that makes sense. So I just feel like the best way to learn in life is to experience. I think you should try, as many avenues as possible to see what fits and what sticks versus, just looking one track at one thing. So that's pretty much my experience, just experimenting.
Pampute, you would have spoken throughout your career about a number of challenges that you've been through. And in 2022, coming into 2023, we're seeing Pampute, for want of a better term, almost on the rise again. What is the reason for that? What would you attribute this new success to?
All right, this new success, believe in yourself, that's the first thing. Don't give up. You work when you're happy, you work when you're sad, you work when you're hungry, you work when your belly full. Because by the sweat of your brow, you shall eat bread. So
would you say at all it is that you're doing anything differently? Is it any kind of new strategy?
Yes.
Is it any new guidance?
Yeah, man, new. Yes, man. From your see me, you see how I glow. Your first thing you have to clean up from your inside. From your heart, your mind, your soul. You have to clean up them something there. And just focus. So you see the things that don't make no sense, and you have a thing name, don't waste energy. If that don't make no sense, don't waste no time on it. So I have to just sit back and relax and see the things them when are good for me and were good for me. And fix it. Because sometimes we, as human beings, we waste some energy too much. Too much waste of energy. And that energy that we waste, you could have used it for yourself. Strengthen yourself and the areas them where you're weak, So me just kind of think back and do some things different. Me have a thing where me say right now, Pampute, you have to wear the less, eat the best, and save the rest.
Say it again.
Because you want good nose have to run. So you have to wear the less, eat the best, and save the rest. You understand? Me live by a whole heap of motto. Me have a thing when me say music don't live on nobody yard. Today for you, tomorrow for me. As long as you work, the rest are history. Sometimes you have to hold your own till you own your own. You have to work with what you have till you get where you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaggy, I said to us, Shaggy would say to us on a number of occasions, it have to make sense.
Yes.
What that mean, Sharon?
Well, every day he says it. So,
Mike. Mike.
I have the mic, Judy. It have to make sense. Meaning it has to have a balance. Meaning it, in doing business with us, it has to be worth his while.
What that mean?
At the end of the day, we can't be just doing for others and not for ourselves too. So there has to be a balance.
Somebody give the chairman a mic, please. Make him talking to the women panel.
Yeah, yeah, because he stand up beside us, so we have to be proud of him.
There's a thing. First of all, let me just break you through where Sharon is concerned.
I don't want to be-
People don't know, say, when me and Sharon just start work, me never like her at all.
I true that, you know?
See, Paula Rassi, I'm a tour manager, I couldn't stand her.
Yeah. Because guess what happened? He was introduced to the first world and did not understand the third world.
That is true. So we were doing a tour in the Caribbean, and the thing in the Caribbean, when you tour in the Caribbean, is really, these shows don't start until you're not on stage till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you have to be back up to catch a little Lear jet then. at 6 a.m. to go in for a set up for another show, and then you get fatigue, and I'm like, but this is party shop thing. What is?
So you thought I was sabotaging it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we go through with things. But as I go through this, I realize this, that there is no one that I meet in this business that has the energy that Sharon has. And when she says, you know, if you think about every major thing in reggae music, from Sunsplash, what was before that? There was something before that, right?
We weren't born.
Yeah, we weren't born. Sunsplash, Sachet, Fully Loaded, Champions in Action,
Shaggy's Platinum Party.
Shaggy and Friends, Burna Boy, Versus,
50 Cent.
50 Cent. You look at
Pass the mic.
Pass the mic. You look at every major thing that has happened in this culture of dancehall and reggae, Sharon has been a part of it, right? And Saga to the East, yeah. And when I came to her with Shaggy and Friends, just out of sheer, you know, passion at the time, because I meet this little girl and just want to do something else, I didn't have a clue about putting on a concert or know to do it. And Sharon sit down and guide me through the whole. So when she come to me with an idea, there's no way I'm going to say no. I'm going to go through it. What I always say to her in most of it, if it's not a win-win, it's a bad idea. You can't be the only person winning, and the next person can't be the only person winning. It has to make sense, which is what I mean. It has to be a win-win on both sides. And if we can't find that where everybody is making, no, you're going to have some people that go and get the lion's share of something, because that person might be bringing more to the table. Nothing is wrong with that. Again, I said before, 100% of zero is still zero. You get in a smaller percentage of something that is a bigger organization and brings more, it actually works more for you. But the thing about Sharon is, if I go to her and say, I have this idea, you know, and before I'm finishing my thought, she's on the phone making the call. Not many people I can say that about, right? And then now, you know, people might have to say, boy, Sharon organization. Your people say Sharon a thief. And I said, well, if Sharon a thief, I don't know what she do with the money, you know. God no.
The Ferrari.
Sharon, I'll know me can't say the Ferrari. I want Datsun short there, you know. But the main thing about Sharon is this. You got anybody who go to Sharon house or been around Sharon will notice that there are always a bunch of like a young people around her. Anybody who know her. And it might, if you talk to these people and hear the backstory, it might be somebody who's from a family out of country and her mother might, you know, kick her out or this or that, or another person who might just, you know, have problem or get pregnant or this, or one little man where boy feel parents did this and that, and she carry all of them in. If you see a bunch of people run around us from little people, them run up and down around us, and I run with some little microphone and ears, and do some things, you sure and hire them, sure and bring them in. You see, every policeman are out there, so when they keep these big events, she know all of them, she link up with all of them, and she give work to all of them. We're doing Shaggy and Friends, some of the police that are involved, that we help and get involved into doing these things, right? She'll even long walk to freedom we were doing. Sharon and I sat down, you know what I mean, when we were talking about venues and all of them things there, and we kind of know that when where they were pushing it to go wouldn't work, and we sat down and said the stadium is the best place because it is designed for it. When you look at a venue and putting up a venue from top, which should be really in the next chat with Rossi, but you know, she has a wealth of knowledge, and yeah, that you can tap into with Sharon and with her and I both. And what Judy does now is really bring that organizational side to Sharon, and it really eases up Sharon somewhat, because she's like with the 2 foot. Yes, hello, yeah, and have the 2 phone and going, it just don't, you know, sometimes it becomes overwhelming, you know. But with Judy now, there's a bit of a structure there, and then Sharon can easily roam around and do contacts, and then she'll call me and tell me, say, Shaggy, I have this person over here, say, you can jump on the phone and have this conversation for me, or make this thing go through, boom. And so we work as a team. So I don't want to make the panel all about Sharon, but she's one of our leading strong, and I know her a lot. When you say, tell her to push the mic, trust me, she chat enough. she just don't like do it by microphone like
I
this. She's
didn't
very
want it. I want Shaggy to come and sit here.
yeah.
and
She
answer
never
my
she don't do good with
Please.
public
Well,
speaking.
Shaggy, you teach me something the other day when I came. You know,
Yeah.
you say, when we come to these places as artists, we must work the room because
Yes.
it's the most powerful people that comes into this room invited
Yes.
by you guys. So I am working the room right now to say to you, Mrs. Sharon Burr, that we need you to help us to organize one little something for with women and children here in Jamaica. We want, and this is no joke, we want to see as women in the business, we need to rescue with girls and with
But you remember
mothers.
Queen
Yes,
Africa,
indeed.
we were on that thing down by Lady Musgrave where
Yes,
we went to the young
yes.
pregnant mothers.
So we want to take
Nadine,
it to the man them
and they
and
were
show
like
them how
13
women-
years old,
yes.
and we went and
Yes.
we meant to. we
In
gave
this,
them-
in this, where we are right now, from 23 moving forward, and I'm not just saying, you know me not talk things for clout or whatever, I'm just moving in the harmony of the pace that Shaggy just said. That with your, because you know something knows so you're powerful.
But you see,
know what I mean?
Africa is a discussion and also
Yes.
education.
Yes.
And it's as a culture that we need to do this.
Yes.
It's not okay, and this is it. It's not okay for us just to keep helping in a particular way,
Yes.
rescuing.
Yes.
It's also necessary
Yes.
that we look at the education
Empowering.
system
Yes.
and
Empowering.
empowerment.
Yes.
What's interesting for me is that reggae is from Jamaica.
Yes.
My mind is blown that the education system does not ensure that every child is able to articulate reggae.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
Every child in every school should first be able to articulate reggae.
Yes.
I am frightened when I go to parties nowadays or family events or friends events and all our children are speaking in a solid American accent.
Yes. Yes.
But that's our fault.
Yes.
And so that's why we have to end up rescuing.
Yeah,
Because
but
we are great
it's still,
organizers.
even with the accenting, it still boils down to media at the end of the day. You
Yes.
have device nowadays, most of the content that are there. Remember back in the days when reggae was strong, you have one television station, JBC,
Yeah.
right?
Sign on 4 o'clock.
Right, and RJR, and that was your only media. Now you have,
right?
you have your device, and these kids, my kids are living in Jamaica here, but they speak at times American accent because they're on their devices and they're getting that. So that is it. But there's also can be a drawback to that. I've been in meetings.
And then to Shaggy, how therefore do we utilize these same devices to teach the lessons? We're talking about...
Well, but I've been saying that from morning, said your device is what you should use even to fact check what we're saying. But back to what I'm saying with the language. I've been criticized from day one because I speak, them say, well, I'm a Jamaican, I'm talking this American accent sometimes. But I spend most of my time in Jamaica, in America. I did my high school in America at Erasmus Hall and finished up. And I was in the military for 4 years and I fought in the first Gulf War and I did all of that. Right? So I flip it back and forth. I talk to Jamaica, I talk raw. But I did an interview. I'm going to give you a little quick. I did an interview. Maxi Priest was really my mentor. That really took me on tour for the first time on a global scale. We were doing Rock in Rio. And Maxi Priest is doing an interview with MTV. And him say, what Maxi did is every time I go somewhere, him say, bring the youth. And I come beside him. And I'm green. And him say, then I ask him a question. And Maxi say, yeah, well, What was the question again? Yeah. I'm going to let Shaggy answer that. Go ahead, rude boy. And so, I take the mic and say, yeah, well, you want to see, yeah, but glad for there in a Brazilian, the thing turn up and ray, and he goes, yo. English. You were taught the Queen's English, just English. I know you're trying to keep it real, but this is MTV and it's a global platform. If you speak in that term, then they're not going to understand you, so you're not getting the benefit of the full platform. I know you're trying to keep it real, but that just might be keeping it broke. But it was a very strong lesson.
Of course.
And I've been in meetings, even my brother Rassi, where we're in management situation, where my manager at the time had a very strong Jamaican accent. And when they talk, they would be on their little, at that time it was two-way, having conversation and say, I can't understand a word this banana boat boy is talking about. And that was because the manager was speaking, but they, automatically in people's minds in the Western world, so to speak, or in the first world, they look at us with a strong accent as if we're illiterate. It's very sad. You know, I remember having a conversation when somebody come to me and say, hey, Shaggy, let's exchange emails, right? And I say, yeah, let's exchange emails. He says, oh, do they have internet in Jamaica? And these are real conversations. So what I do sometimes when I go in some of these meetings, I can't chat to you, but then I sit down and I talk for them language. And I speak to you as if where I'm articulate. And I speak to you where I'm educated. And this way, you're not lowballing me. I walk in, I'm wear the right watch. I wear the right, I'm put on a suit, I'm come in, I'm have a conversation with you on your level. Now, you might have an Ivy League education, right? But me have Ivy Street education. I'm gonna have the conversation with you on your level, and you, it's your Ivy League, better be able to have it on my level, because this is where it starts, from the streets. I just want to say something to Queen Ifrica. First time I saw you perform, you're one of the artists that when you sing, you just sing something. You don't sing it and just hear it, you sing it and feel it. And you will make me feel it, always.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something I've always admired. I remember looking on YouTube, seeing it on a dub plate session, and I ended up rewinding that dub plate session over and over just the way he was a DJ. Because from looking at that, I could feel every emotion that you were saying in the music, and you are one of the few artists that do that. Not the few, but one of the artists that do that. Nadine Sutherland, from your little boy, I did have a crush from you, because you was a little beanie girl, so. And me, as a little, almost every man in our time used to have that little crush there. Because Nadine Sutherland was this little young girl, and up and go so, a young, that before baby face time. Because you...
Teen Queen time.
Yeah, them time there, when you used to do the little, you and Juna Tucker, when you used to be the kind of a team I go around, and them time me a little boy and say, yo, Nadine. See? But you have come such a long way, and when you did Action, Dave Kelly, of course, you have me in my virgin, and what you have done, your voice is one of those voices that cut through the clutter because of the tone of what it has, and you've maintained it over the years. I just want to congratulate and say, I've been a fan for years. Pampity, me and you do a set, me and you do a thing with acting thing.
Shaggy,
And your acting thing.
Sharon, I must ask you, how come you take over the woman panel?
No, but I come back. I just want to give them flowers.
You know, you talk from me.
No. I give them flowers because I felt bad giving so much on Sharon. I have to really give everybody them flowers at the end of the day. And Pampity,
when you want to
not because you're doing music.
Telling me yourself.
Well, I know, not because you're doing music. That doesn't mean that's where it stopped. Because in the acting field, you are very believable when you say what you say and how you do it. I don't know this young lady, but I really thank you for coming on the panel and sharing your energy and your experience with me. That's enough for me. I'm done.
And so, you know what Sharon just said? So, Judy, you see, you don't have to ask me no more questions because Shaggy answered my questions for me. Thank you so much for that, though, Shaggy, in terms of making sure that our women are recognized. And as he said, he has also done that through his music. And so, as our time is running for this panel, I just want to say that seated on this stage are so many powerful women who understand what we need to do for the culture and for the music, and who on all kinds of occasions have really given themselves to the music. When we call people for a panel like this, I remember Ifrica was here 2 days ago, and I had to fill some time, and I go up to her and I say, Queen, do this thing, come sing for me now. And she said, but me not have no track. I'm saying, where yourself, we find track. And she was up here. And the first time that I met her was in Mandeville. I was doing 100% literacy for Jamaica program. And I call Rebel and I say, I need you come sing. Him say, yeah, make me come and me roll with Queen. And she came, sang, absolutely free. I find that even the space that we're in now, and I'm not saying that people must go and give away their talent for free, but what I'm saying is, as we nurture this culture, and as we nurture this country, we always have to give back. And I'm glad that the team that I work within, Orville, Sharon, we're always looking at how to give back. And so I'm going to open the floor now to questions.
Judith, I just
Yes.
wanted to say something before we finish. We have to acknowledge the rest of the team that has been working with us.
Absolutely.
As this is the final day. So we
Yes.
need to, Debrina Smith, Ariel McFarlane.
And it's something that we're going to do at the end too, in terms
Yes.
of having them come so
up.
that people can see.
But let us
Yeah.
just, you know, even the women in there, Aliyah Barnes,
Yes.
Debrina, Ariel, Latoya,
Leon,
Tina
Zion.
Davis, Kiki, help me with the names.
Imani,
Iman.
Latoya,
Yeah, I said all those names.
Tamra.
Tamra. I think Rochelle.
Rochelle. The graphic whisperer.
Rochelle. Big time. All the graphics that you see here.
She's a graphic whisperer. But I open the floor now to questions.
Joanne. Adam.
Joanne. We said Tina.
Check.
Both can ask them at the end.
Good afternoon. My name is Janelle Todd from Friendship Productions, independent record label. It's not really a question, it's a comment, and I really sat down and I thought about it. Do I want to say it for a long time while the discussion went on, but I feel really led to say it. So I'm going to do that. And it's just to say that as all the top women in the industry, you see the pats on the back to the younger ones, sometimes it's the only thing that keeps us in it. Because it was really rough for me when I started out, not because I didn't know necessarily what to do, but no one trusted that I knew that I could do what I'm saying I could do. Right? And part of it was being female, a large part of it, but part of it too was being a really, really young female. Right? They had a lot of reasons not to trust. So when I just started out and I was giving the ideas and I was giving, the direction, most of the time I was being told, no, this don't make no sense. No, we don't want to do that. We want to do something else. No, this don't, all right, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to really put anything into it while I'm doing it. And after a couple of months of hearing that, I was absolutely sure that maybe I was just stupid. Maybe I really was not good. And it was when I was producing my first official, music video for the artist. And I picked for a dance company to work with. And I met Dr. Steins, Leantoinette Steins. And when she met me, I guess she kind of saw it on me. And she was the one that kind of had to pull me up and say, listen, you're brilliant. You're not saying foolishness. You have to learn to be more assertive and learn how to communicate and get your point across. It's not a brilliance problem. You're very efficient for your age. It's none of those issues. You just have to learn to communicate. If she hadn't said that to me, I would have just stopped. I couldn't have done it because it was breaking my spirit as well. So I had to make a decision. Am I going to continue to break myself and push this through? Or am I going to move on? And those words that she said to me gave me the will to push through. So I'm just saying the pats on the back really, really help. Sometimes it's a little thread that sometimes we're holding on by, especially when an older woman in the industry says it to you. Because a man can be nice to you as a woman for a lot of reasons, right? Yes. But older female figures are harsher critics. They tell you usually the truth. So when they tell you, when they give you that pat on the back to say, all right, you're coming along. You're coming along. even if it's not as far as to give advice or an opportunity, but just to hear it, you coming along, does a lot. So just saying that.
Thank you for saying that too, because I want to say something about that, and I'm not going to make this opportunity pass, because I heard when you said younger females need a pat on the back, and that is especially from older females. And I'm going to use an example of why I did this thing that I did a little back, but it caused a lot of issue at the time. It was when Nicki Minaj went ahead and did that combination with all the other young females.
Fine
was
Nine.
Fine Nine. And I came out and I said to her that I congratulated her for doing it, because what she did, Spice should have been the one to do it. Now, this is the reason why I said that. Because at the time, there was this great feud between Spice and the other females that were coming up as to whether or not she was endorsing the other females that were coming behind them. And I thought that Nicki Minaj saw that and decided that she would step up and make a song unifying all these females, and it became an issue in the moment that it happened. What we as older women in the business really and truly need to do is to reach back to the sisters that are really coming along and endorse them and encourage them along the way, putting aside all the petty differences that we have the right to have, because that would make the difference for a young sister like yourself to see literal examples happening right in front of your faces in real times, to show that music is not just about what you get from it, but what you give back from it.
I'd like to add something though, Africa. For me,
Yes.
my heart really just warmed when you said that. Sometimes I'm afraid of the young people in the music industry.
Yes.
Let's get real, let's get real. The level of arrogance that can be present is sometimes frightening, and the rudeness that is there. Now, I was young back in the day, so I was young, yeah. But I don't think, I think in probably as the generation is removed, the sense of elder respect it also has been eroded. And I find that some of these young people, I'm afraid of their ass. I'm sorry, I'm afraid of them because I agree that they're learned, but the
so it's what
arrogance
they're
that
coming up on.
Yeah, but
No, but
they're
hold on,
watching,
guys, one at a time.
Yes. They're watching this stuff, they think they know it all. Them go on YouTube, they think they know it all.
You're not guided.
And they, sometimes you would want to say something to them, but they walk with this level of arrogance and rudeness. I'm not going to put myself in that situation.
Cut the first thing they're going to tell you, your bad mind. Because
Exactly,
enough
exactly.
artists.
Your bad mind them is like, I've lived so many, and you want to say something, and you genuinely care. You genuinely want to pass on the wisdom. You're genuinely looking at them, and you're saying, okay, so you're young, and I can understand your arrogance, but why would you put yourself in a situation that a girl disrespect you, and then the gangster in you for come out?
But as she said, she's expecting for us, the older woman, the pat of the older woman on the shoulder.
If it's needed, if it will be respected,
but
if it will be accommodated.
But there should be a if it's a responsibility. It can't be a if it's a responsibility, because that's our parents did not give up on us. Our parents kept tapping on our shoulders even when we did not come home last night.
But you hear what I said?
They know
if it's accommodated, if it's respected, if it wants to be, if somebody wants to receive it.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that we don't have somewhat. I feel responsible to the younger generation. But what I'm trying to say is that the accommodation of your knowledge that you have garnered over the years that supersede what a young person going to learn in 2 years. It's going to be almost 45 years I'm in this business. The ups, the downs, the days when I feel like it is over for me. So the experience, nothing supersedes experience. Nothing at all.
And that's what you give us the most patience.
And I want to give. I want to give. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes a lot of the young people, in terms of their development, and right now where the situation, they don't want to receive because they think that they know it all. Some
So
Yeah, because I think on the broader level, young people, I can't necessarily, I mean, I hear what you're saying, my sister, and I agree to a great, because remember, I have a 22-year-old daughter that wants to do music, and she also is one of them that wants to do it her way. I would never, ever want to tell her not to do it her way, but I'm also are going to be moved to guide her, not to become Rastafari and praise Rastafari and do culture music, but to understand what you're doing, why you're doing it. And even though she's not going to want to hear, I'm going to make sure that I leave it in her subconscious that at any moment that she might need it, at least it would be there for her. Because if I walk away, then that means that I'm leaving her to figure it out, and figuring out for herself may not be what it is.
That's a parental relationship.
ladies,
But
ladies,
music
you
is
know what
somewhat
I'm
of a
getting from this?
parental
Africa, Nadine, and even from the young lady that spoke. What I'm getting from this is the pat on the back is not just for young people. The pat on the back is across the board.
Yes.
Sometimes the older women as nurturers still need to be nurtured. I agree. And so what I hear Nadine to be saying also is sometimes it can be the pat on my back. Sometimes the pat on your back, and let us act as nurturers for everyone as we go along the journey. Reciprocity, absolutely. And certainly agreeing with what Africa is saying in terms of planting the very seed for the tree that you want to see grow.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Travis Graham. I manage a female reggae artist, Yeza. But I'm also here with my daughter and my goddaughter because, well, one, they're into fashion, so the fashion panel I think was important for them. But also this panel because it's important for them to see that you have women in the creative industry who are at the pinnacle. So it's good to hear from you. So my question is, well, even though I don't agree, I think there's a general sentiment out there that women in music don't support other women in music, right? So the question is, do or should successful women in music see it as their responsibility to mentor and coach other women in the industry as a personal mission? To each of you, what has your journey been in relation to coaching and mentoring other women in the industry?
Lord God. Venus, you want to start with that one?
My experience of mentoring, can't say that I have mentored any other women yet, but I am very helpful with my female peers. I've inspired a lot of my friends to create their own media platforms versus working for one. I can say, that's something I do want to get into, is mentoring high schoolers and middle schoolers in elementary school. I have done that, but it wasn't just, I've done that in the aspect of, I've been to high schools to mentor kids and I would hire them for like my productions, but I do want to create some type of mentorship program because that's actually something I've been thinking about for the past year. Because I wanted to make, I want to make it like a habit, maybe a weekly meetup or something, you know, versus just bringing them on board to certain projects. I wanted to be like an experience for them, like an internship, mentorship program. I think that's all I can say for right now. Maybe
Well, for me, Pampute, you know, when me talk, you know, the female them know them have Pampute right through. Because also Pampute is an artist and entertainer, and I'm also a single mother. And I do a song named called Single Mother, you know. A lot of female reach out to me and, you know, I really have to pat them on the back. Go through a whole heap of things. Even if enough young artists more while they message me and I talk to them and I tell them don't give up because enough of them want to give up. Enough of them I say, oh, them feel like them are mad because them do music. And when you look, you see somebody do foolishness over this, no? And them are, for them thing a trend and for them thing a trend. Me have to tell them, say, look here, everybody have them purpose on earth and everybody timing is different. So you have to just put in the work and wait for your turn and your timing. So me always motivate, you know, always dead upon the woman them side and thing like that.
Okay, I want to address something that you asked about female-to-female relationship. I think there's a myth that speaks about the acrimonious relationship between women because men do have it too, right? I find I think it's annoying for me sometimes when they project that and it's like female sex. It's a human behavior. So let us just clarify that. I want to say, because the world is mixed with people, and mixed with different people, different levels of security or insecurity or confidence, there are some female in the business that I have strong relationships with that will support me and pat me on my back. I don't know if there are others that acrimonious relationship because I don't really allow that in my space. I don't really allow negativity around me, so I don't even know. Me and nobody never trace off yet. So that answer your question? The second thing about mentorship, I believe in mentorship. I have mentored, probably I won't say who, but I always try to facilitate opportunities for other people, both male and female, and I've done that in my life. Was there a third question? Mentoring other female. I have mentored other female, and I am open, and I believe in it. I believe I live by a lot of African philosophies about, the older generation reaching out to the younger generation. I believe in that strongly, but as I said before, if it's received with respect, that's it.
I can be a little more literal in talking about my mentorship journey. I have mentored big and young artists, incoming artists and artists who have arrived, and I'd want to name one of them specifically because she talks about it all the time, Etana. I remember when Etana was brought to me by Fifth Element. I was performing at a Rebel Salute press launch, just coming from Europe, don't have a hit song yet, don't even boss yet for myself like what you call boss, right? But they were trying to break her into the industry. Now, this is where we talk about how we support each other. Because at the time, I could have said, me no boss yet. And me I look for myself. So right now, she have to just go all half over there so till me get my thing going. You see what I say? But I saw a beautiful sister who wanted to sing music. And that's what I saw. So when the brethren came to me and said, Queen, we want you to call up this little sister for us, I said, I didn't ask who she was, where she coming from. I said, yeah, man, as soon as I get the opportunity. When I called her on stage, she was so nervous and so shy. But I said, you remember that, right, sis? I said to her, don't worry yourself, I got you. Just sing your song. When she sang, it was Wrong Address she was introducing.
Yes, it was Wrong Address.
And she sang Wrong Address for the first time there. And she couldn't even finish it to how nervous she was. She gave back the mic, and I took the mic from her. I spoke to the audience and I said, encourage her. She's a bit shy, and we see who Etana is in the world today. I was not the only one who would have done that, but that's where I love to mentor. I am now mentoring this young sister from Ghana. Her name is Renner. She's now starting out in music, and she's very serious about it. She reached out to me via Instagram to ask me to mentor. She sends her music to me, asks me to listen to them, check what it needs, and to tell her, and I do communicate to and from. That's what I believe in. I believe that if we have had the experience of the rough times and the ups and the downs, but we have made it to a point where we can see a level out, you know what I mean? I think it's our responsibility to reach back unconditionally to whoever and whatever genre. I would love for Spice to call Shensia and sit her down and say, come here, my little sister, I'm going to show you two things. I want Lady Saw to come back as well and to do some mentoring as well, because now she's at a higher place because she's closer to God. So she now has gone through all the roads. She can come back now, you see what I say? And say to these young sisters, I love Jada Kingdom. I love Stark Ashley. I love all these beautiful sisters. They all, and I also love Leela Ike, and I also love coffee. Let me tell you, Lila Ike came to me and said God told her that I should be the one to mentor her. But when I went down into the mentorship, she decided that she would want to choose her path, and I allowed her to be, and we're seeing her do her thing right now too. So this is not a partial settings I'm talking from where I'm sitting here. I'm hearing you, your daughters are here and they're coming, they're very young. And fashion, as you see the fashion statement. Fashion is a part of who we are in music. It helps to sell your talent, helps to sell who you are. And this is how we create the kind of democracy that we want to see in the world, a democracy that has a moral compass, that we don't just reach back conditionally, but we reach back holistically, because that is how we have the kind of holistic future that we're trying to build for the rest of the world, and all of us included. So that's how I think we should mentor moving forward. All of us who are strong and have the biggest of platforms, use it to show these girls how to love what they do, and boys, because they need mentorship too, Shaggy.
Well,
so I say,
just being here alone is my mentorship, opening up this platform for everyone to speak like this. I think this is a platform. 2 years ago, Amber Lee, please stand up. I saw Amber perform. And let me tell you something. Was it Wednesday or Thursday night? Thursday night, where she was 2 years ago and where she is today, trust me, she has come a far way. Because when I first saw Amber, I said to her dad, you think Amber really wants to do this? When I saw on Thursday, Amber really wants to do this.
Yes.
So I saw YouTube, everybody reaching out to Amber. So for next year, I want you to encourage all the other females and everyone to come to a platform like this. Because Queen herself said to me, this is such a fabulous thing.
It is a good thing.
She sat through everything we did on Thursday.
Yes.
And to see somebody like Queen Africa, who she know how I feel about her.
Yes.
Great icon in the business.
Yes. Because this is what I'm saying, like, do it. You know, Nike has a slogan for that reason. Just do it. We can say we want it, but doing it is what makes the difference. And yes, I must commend you for bringing this, and also encourage, because a lot of times the artists say that they have been robbed over the years so much and they're skeptic of joining things. But I see this not as robbery or taking away. I see it as giving the artists the tools that they need, especially in this future. I think it's the most amazing thing when I came and saw everybody.
Let me tell you something, Queen. When they saw, to Judy and I, they saw Shaggy's face, and Shaggy went to be a Super Bowl. You think in business with it?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something. He has been a great business partner.
I want to big up Shaggy for doing this, because to have your power and to use it to bring the people that we need as artists and entertainers, so that we can speak to them one-on-one and push up on them and say, yo, give me your number, you come from Sony. Drop one here, you know what I mean? Every artist wants that kind of opportunity. So yeah, man, it is a great initiative to do something like this.
And I have to add to that to let you guys know that for each time that you come up and say thank you or this is a good thing, and even when you said it, Queen, the fact that we sat down so many weeks and curated the topics, we sit down and we look at the persons that we have coming in and say, all right, these are the topics, and we're listening to the artists to say what are some of the things that they would like to know. And we curate the topics and to watch them, and then we have the meetings to see with the panels what's going to happen on this panel, what's going to happen on that panel.
And we did buck heads a lot of times.
We buck heads every day.
Every day.
10 times a day. But then to see the way it turned out, oh my goodness. And then to talk about mentorship, just this platform alone, to look at how we have mentored and been mentored, you know, and sometimes it's appreciated, Nadine, yes, and sometimes it's not, but we still do it. I've mentored so many persons within my first industry. Yes, one is right there. She just raised her hands. Danielia. So many persons within my industry. For those of you who know me, you know that broadcasting is where I'm from. Just because you want to see it grow. And so I know every time, sometimes I see Shaggy come out and I know he's tired. But if you say to him, Shaggy, can you come do this? Shaggy, we need this. Shaggy, and he will always respond. He'll always do it. If I say to Sharon, Sharon, let's do this. Or if she comes and she says, Judy, well, she don't speak like me. Judy, come with this one, and we do it. And it's not to sit here and laud ourselves, but it's to sit here and say, what if we all do this for every single problem that we see in the country? What if we use this industry to affect every other problem that we see and to impact it positively? How beautiful it would be.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Njeri, NJ Music One. I'd just like to say, just to piggyback on what Sharon and Judith mentioned, sometimes just by being in the music space, women on the panel, you inspire young people like myself. I'd just like to highlight a few stories that I've been inspired by. Nadine, I read an article once about your journey and the frustrations that you had, and I was really moved by it, and I'd just like to give you your flowers for what you have done for Jamaican women in music. Yes, you deserve it. I'd like to acknowledge Queen Ifrica for the mentorship role that she has played for me as a young artist. I'd just like to give an anecdote just to support what everybody says about putting into action and not a bag of mouth. Right, that is Queen Ifrica. A while back, I was an intern for Joan Webley. It's Joan. And that opportunity facilitated my meeting Queen Ifrica, and for her inviting me to do a show that I didn't know would later be played over and over and over. I took some time off to go to medical school, but there were people in the streets saying to me that they saw me on stage with Queen Ifrica. To keep going, don't let my dreams die, don't give it up. And I'd like to acknowledge and thank Queen Ifrica, Joan, for facilitating that opportunity. It's been really a vehicle for me for my moving.
Thank you to my panel, Venus Rose, Sharon Burke, Queen
Judy,
Ifrica.
1 second, please.
Okay.
Can I talk? I
can.
felt compelled to say something during this panel, because what I do in Jamaica and how successful I am in Jamaica is powered by females, is powered by the ladies. A lot of what I do is set up and backed by Auntie Sharon Burke. I don't move in Jamaica without Auntie Sharon Burke, literally. She picks up my calls sometimes, and if she doesn't pick up the calls, then Judy will pick up the calls. All the rest of the ladies in the team, and I'm saying like Tina and all these, like, they are absolutely amazing bunch of people. I couldn't be Shawnee B without these ladies. And I look around the room and I see Auntie Marcia Griffiths here. Yay. Like, the ladies make my job easy. But when the man them give me the run around, maybe because it's my smile, but the ladies pick up the phone. Auntie Marcia picks up every phone call that I send her, every interview, every request. If somebody drops out and I need that historical point of view, Auntie Marcia is always there to do it, and I say thank you. From Auntie Marcia to the younger artists like a Joe BJ that's in the building right now, thank you very much. And I just want the ladies to know that you know something, even though it sounds like it's difficult, but I want you lot to celebrate, you know, because the session that I did with Leela IK, Savannah, Jazzy Lee, and Naomi Cowan, that is the #1 viewed video that I have done in Jamaica. And many people don't know, I don't know if Auntie Marcia remembers, but I actually wanted all 4 of them with Coffee to sing Young, Gifted and Black with BEVs, with Auntie Marcia leading out. And it didn't happen. And I'm so glad that it didn't happen because it showed the magic of 4 individual empresses from this country, Jamaica, to the world. And that's no disrespect to you, Auntie Marcia, you have your glory already, but the rest of them had to get their glory as well. So I want the ladies of the Caribbean to know, you are winning. You are doing it. You guys are great. And I know that it's difficult, and maybe it's the ignorant side of me as a male, but trust me, you guys are winning, so big up to you guys.
Thank you, Shawnee B.
Thank you so much, Shawnee B. And thank you to my panel, Nadine Sutherland, Pam Pute, Queen Ifrika, Sharon Burke, Venus Rose. I'm Judith Bartley.
Judith, can I ask a really important question? Is Chrislyn?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Chrislyn Lashington from Grenada, Missy Chrissy, MSY.CHRISSY on Instagram. I thought this question is so important, especially this panel is women in music. As women, we are, of course, very attractive to men. We're very attractive to men, and I know in the industry that's something that you probably have loads of stories that you deal with. But how, as women in the industry, you've been able to maintain your self-respect while also gaining the respect of men in the industry, not just for your beauty, but more so for your brains and your talent?
All right, cool. Love of self, my dear beloved young sister. I think when you understand what it means to love yourself, that's the first ingredient. Because then you're going to become immediately protective of that self in whatever space you step into. Because this is why I emphasize on the fact that when, as a woman, you find yourself with a very great talent, that's what you pay attention to first. And then you pay attention to, what do I want to use this talent for? What do I want to gain from this talent? How far do I want to go with this talent? What do I leave when I'm done with this talent? But along that journey, you are an individual, you are flesh and blood. And the things that affect us as human comes into play. And a lot of time is in the very industry here, music business, that we cross the darkest streets, especially as women. So I always say, go back to inner self, understanding what's happening to inner self. We are 2 people, the one that we were born to be and the traumatic one that created when we came. And it's the one that we invest in most will shine brightest, whether we need that one or not. It's the one that you invest in most will shine brightest. So which one do you want to invest in? Do you want to invest in the one that was overly traumatized, that is shadowing your idea and your ability to excel and to express and to be the person that every time you could have been raped last night, but every time you wake up in the morning, the first thing that comes to your mind is not that rape, but that song that you'd really love to sing. And because the effects of that rape is holding you and squeezing you so hard, you don't even want to write a song because it's overshadowing that. I'm using these literal senses because that's what's happening in the literal. So who do I strengthen? Do I strengthen the me that was raped and battered? Or do I strengthen the me that wants to shine through all of that and decide that I am not what happened to me, and I'm going to make sure that everybody else sees that. And when I'm standing up to say it, I'm going to be standing with every strength I can find in myself because I have learned what it means to love and center myself through whatever situation I find. That's the only ingredient tested and proven that I think I could pass on to you as a young sister asking a serious question like that.
Thank you so much. Women in music. Shawnee B, over to you.